What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now today I'm going to be talking about review scores, why I think review scores are really important and why I think reviews ultimately should have scores attached to them. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to another video, guys. Thank you very much for dialing into this video. Please like and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about game reviews. So it's quite a common trend now. It's becoming more and more popular for games reviewers to review games and not give these games a review score. Now I want to shed my light on this. I want to tell you a little bit as to what I think. Do I think that games reviews are better or not without review scores? Personally, no. I think games when they're being reviewed, they should have a score to them, and I'm going to explain a little bit why. Firstly, I think it creates a medium that games can be compared against. So for example, let's move on a little bit. Let's just start with some examples. So I've got a few games here, and I want to talk about firstly The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2, and I'm going to show you how review scores makes it easier to understand the level of quality of these games. So The Last of Us Part 1 is one of my favourite games of all time. It's got, for its time, some of the best combat, the best level design, and the best story going, and some of the best characters, and probably the best voice acting of any game. The Last of Us Part 2 has got even better combat than The Last of Us Part 1. I think the combat is improved in every single way. It is better, the level design is better, the world is more open, the story suffers a little bit, but the voice acting is still phenomenal, and the acting is still phenomenal in this game. So if I don't give you a score, you think that I think both these games are amazing, you probably might think, okay, I'm going to pick up both of these games because PlatinumBro says he's given them very positive opinions. Well, I'm going to give them a review score now. I would give Last of Us Part 1 a 10 out of 10, and I would give Last of Us Part 2 a 7 out of 10. There's a big difference in the quality of these games, and sometimes a review just doesn't explain it enough, and just giving a review score allows to put a number on your opinions and your feelings, because although I think Last of Us Part 2 is a great game, I think it falls flat with its story. It doesn't deliver, and a lot of stuff is missed in it, and sometimes it doesn't come across. And if you just give pros and cons equally, sometimes that gets lost in the scoring system. What I will say, however, is that reviews are personal. They're obviously done by this person, they are totally subjective. So when big companies have loads of different reviewers reviewing different games, the review score does sort of get a little bit tarnished, it does lose a bit of its credibility. But when you're listening, you always get your opinions from one reviewer. There's a lot of big reviewers out there who don't give review scores that I watch, and sometimes I think that these scores, I can never tell how good they enjoy a game, because say they talk about 10 minutes of negatives, 10 minutes of positives. It's like, okay, well, how much did you actually enjoy the game? I can't tell because you haven't put a number on it. I feel like sometimes people think this is the new thing to do, to not put a review score on a game. It can feel a little bit like modern, like hippie, to sort of be like, well, I don't need to review them, I don't need to put a score on my games, I just tell you what I want and you can make up your own mind. I kind of feel like if I'm watching a video or if I'm watching a review, I want to hear someone else's opinion so it can help me influence as to whether or not I'm going to buy a game. If I watch someone's opinion and they just say, here's some good and here's some bad, but I'm not going to tell you what I actually think of it, I'm not going to stick a number on it and actually stick by an opinion, I get a little bit more confused, and I feel like I have to watch another review to get a more firm answer. And I feel like sometimes it's sort of like reviewers are a little bit they don't want to put a score on it because they don't want to be held to that score in future time. And I just think if you're in a position where you're reviewing something, you should really give it a number and just say this is what you think, and this is where you're going to stay with it. So another example of reviewing games is I'm going to review, just quickly, Dragon Quest 11. No, it's hard when you've got a mirror. Dragon Quest 11, I'm going to review Witcher 3 quickly to you now, and I'm going to show you how giving something a review score still really helps. So Dragon Quest 11 is the best JRPG I've played. I haven't played that many, but I love it. I love the old school turn-based strategy. I loved the story. It was a really fun, light-hearted story with a few serious messages thrown in there. I love the party system, I love the loot system, I love the character design. All in all, pretty good. The only thing I think of is the fact that the side quests are a bit bland and the music is very tiresome, and after about an hour you want to claw your eyes out. Witcher 3 is one of the best games I've ever played. It is got one of the most in-depth RPG systems. It's got really strong characters, it's got a really strong story, it's got a really strong side quest style. It's got really strong side quests, which are basically as strong as the main quests. Plus it includes DLC, which adds about 50 hours onto the game. You can easily spend 200 hours on this game, and it is, all in all, it's one of the most complete games out there. Again, I've given these both really positive reviews. Now if I was to put a number on these games, I would give Witcher 3 a 10 out of 10, and I'll give Dragon Quest XI a 9 out of 10. So this is just showing that although these great games are both amazing, that Witcher 3 is better than Dragon Quest XI, and ultimately, if I didn't give you a review score there, you may have been able to tell a little bit that I was saying Witcher 3 is one of the best games I've ever played, but you may have still struggled to understand which game I actually thought was better. But by putting a number review score on it, that makes it obviously clear which game I think is better. And I think this is why review scores are so important, because it creates that medium to compare games. Witcher 3 and Dragon Quest XI are both RPGs, so it's easy to compare them despite them being one being a JRPG. Same with Last of Us 1 and 2, they are so similar games that it is really easy to compare them against each other. Now, this medium is created, it's good and bad things, for example, it allows you to compare things that really shouldn't be compared, so it's hard comparing Dragon Quest XI, say, to The Last of Us Part 1, because they're completely different games that could target completely different audiences. So if I was to say The Last of Us Part 1 is a 10 out of 10 and Dragon Quest XI is a 9 out of 10, you might go out and think that The Last of Us is a better game. I think it is, and that's why I'd be giving it these scores. But if you're a JRPG fan, you're going to enjoy Dragon Quest XI more, which is why it's important to listen to the person that you're reviewing and knowing the person whose opinion you're listening to. On the internet, you hear opinions from people that you don't know. You don't know me, but if you watch my content, you know kind of what I'm about, and I think that if you like me, if you resonate with me, then you know what games I play, and if you like the games that I play, then you know that you're probably going to enjoy The Last of Us more than Dragon Quest XI. If you watch a JRPG website, a YouTube channel, and they review games, you're going to know that, and you follow them because you like the same games, you know that they're probably going to give Dragon Quest XI a 10 out of 10 and Last of Us say an 8 or a 9, but that's fine because it matches what you want, it matches what you like. So that's why it's important to make sure that the reviewers you're watching are people that you know, or at least you know what they're about, which is why the big companies, when they just get random editors to review a game, you don't know who they are, you don't know what they're about, they get they get 5-6 reviews a month and they get different people per review. That's when it gets lost, because you don't know what they're about, you don't know what they enjoy, and reviewing games is very subjective. So that is the main issue I'm trying to get across. Reviewing anything is subjective, but because gaming is art, I strongly think it's art. It's interpreted in lots of different ways, and because of that, you need to know the person who's reviewing the content. You need to know a little bit about them, but that doesn't change the fact that the numbers really help you decide on whether or not the game is worth buying. And I think that is what's getting lost ultimately in reviewers not giving review scores. It is allowing them to say what they like and say what they don't like, but not actually stand firm and say, this is what I think and this is the score I'm giving it, criticise me. I feel like it's sort of like taking a step back and stopping people from being able to criticise you as much, because you didn't give a review score to The Last of Us. Because if you give them the review score of The Last of Us a 10 out of 10 when it came out, you would have got a lot of scrutiny. If you gave it a 3 out of 10, again you would have got a lot of scrutiny. But it's not either of those things, so I don't think anyway. But again, reviews are subjective. That's all for this one, guys. This has just been my free-flowing conversation about the review scores. I've watched a lot of reviews, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, as I imagine you do, and I don't like when people don't give review scores. And I think a lot of people have different opinions for it. I don't think it's necessarily the end of the world. If you just want to say, like, this is my opinion, but I don't want you to take it as a recommendation, that's fine. But if you're actively reviewing games to get views, to recommend, to educate people on games, I think they should have a review score. But it is just my opinion. It's just been the ramblings of a guy and his Cocker Spaniel, the guy who has a dog asleep next to him who also has a mug with his face on it. So, you can all sort of just take what I say with a pinch of salt anyway, right? What are your thoughts on this, guys? Do you think reviews should have review scores? Are you not that bothered? I'd really be interested to know, because I'm not sure if this is just the ramblings of a mad, angry, ranting millennial, or if it's actually a shared opinion amongst us gamers. I really would like to know. Thanks very much for watching, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with my content. And that's it, guys. Take it easy.